Thank you. We live and we learn. Grenada National NT. If you don't know what Grenada is, I always say Grenada in my video. Please Google it. We live and we learn. In today's health talk, I want to focus on insulin and the role of insulin. I've been listening to a lot because, of course, predisposed with what I have been going through and trying to become very aware of self and all these things. Insulin comes up. Insulin resistance, stuff like that comes up over and over. And well, my family, a lot of them diabetic, so it's kind of playing on my head. Now, yesterday's video, if you follow, I don't know where the video is from yesterday. I'll try to post it in the description. I spoke about a concept of um, something we call self or soul, giving us instruction through our dreams, which we should pay attention to. And then we, as individuals, could consult with ourselves, which is limited knowledge, consult with others around us, which would become expansive knowledge or community type knowledge, or consult with the whole world, which is called, you might say impossible, but I would say it's AI, not impossible. It's artificial intelligence. Once was impossible. What am I saying here in this small concept is that now we have an expansive development of information encapsulated into a model framework called artificial intelligence, machine learning, AI. We could ask questions and get the answers from a multiplicity of persons who have voted on a certain area or given evidence on a certain paradigm. Now, I want to speak about insulin resistance from this paradigm. All that I'm saying here is nothing to do with research, nothing to do with health advice, nothing to do with financial advice, educational advice. This is just me talking to myself. Thank you for viewing today. If you like what I'm saying, click on the link in my bio, which is, sorry, on the link in the down there, the description, that says AI Health Insight. I'm focused on doing artificial intelligence and health in one topic. Coming from a computer background, I am translating my domain into the paradigm of my own health for transformative purposes. Might be useful to someone. Now, I've heard Dr. Sewers, if I'm saying it right. He is the carb addiction doctor on YouTube. He is the carb addiction doctor. You need to listen to him once in a while. And he has been speaking about his thesis, which was focused around the liver, and he has always been saying that the insulin is not targeting the liver. Coming from a perspective of being an IT person, I have to verify, validate, and everything like that. And that rabbit hole of understanding insulin has brought me to the point where I have two concepts now of insulin. Insulin is not targeting the liver cells. Insulin is targeting the fat cells and the cells of the muscles. Cells of the muscles specifically to give them glucose, and cells of the fat to push in extra glucose and everything else. This is again just my theory, which the artificial intelligence would help me to develop a conceptual framework, a thesis. My observation has been made, and this is just empirical from my observation, so it's just anecdotal as far as I'm concerned. But as at this point in time, I'm saying, if this is the case, the storage of visceral fat, which is the toxic fat, is the evidence of normal fat translating into visceral fat, subcutaneous fat translating into visceral fat, because these cells would have amounted to hold the toxic type substances for the liver, because the liver, as I explained in subsequent video, the liver cannot immediately dump toxins out of itself into the bile. It has to hold on to them sometimes when we do not supply this with bubble wrapping nutrients to allow the liver to transform those toxic substances into safer substances for the dumping. It's just like you in your kitchen, you don't dump a broken plate in your garbage bag because it will just tear up the garbage bag and all things will spill on your floor. You tape it up first. That's the same analogy that is drawn to the liver and how it does its bubble wrapping. It needs certain substances. We call them trace minerals, we call them vitamin minerals, we call them all kind of minerals, and the liver utilizes those to help transform the heavy metals and the other toxic substances that are coming in. Wherever they come from, they come in through the small intestine, they get to the liver. The liver has to put them somewhere in the interim, and it, of course, the liver stores everything in, whether it stores the glycogen in as glycogen, it stores it around itself at first, and then anything spillover goes to store into the fat cells, little small containers called fat cells. What is allowing the fat cells to open and accept these things might just be insulin. What is allowing the receptor sites on the cells of the normal organs to open up, and we are speaking about the normal organs, which are taking in glucose, they open because they have receptor sites which is opened by, or at least triggered to be opened by, apparently insulin. None of what I'm saying here I know, I'm just saying. The fact is, here we sit and realize there are a lot going on in the world today, and if this is some of these claims that I'm making, if this hold to be true, then we have to be very careful that insulin and insulin resistance is not taken down into the path of one directional discussion around glucose, which is the insulin going to the muscle cells, the organ cells, and asking them to utilize glucose, make ATP, and push out carbon dioxide and water. We have to be very cautious that fat cells are also opening because of insulin's presence, and therefore if they become over consumed, just as how the muscles and the organ cells could become over abused with the insulin knocking on their receptor sites, so too the fat cells could become mutated if we are knocking on them with insulin too much. Therefore, we need to go to the point where we need to investigate. We need to try to investigate how to manage our insulin levels, not from diabetic, I'm not diabetic, not from a diabetic, but from a general health perspective and a cautious a warning for cognitive awareness. How do we get to a state where we are balancing out, at least balancing out the play between our burning of glucose, getting glucose from the blood to the cells, which is okay, and controlling that amount, and then getting to burn or to open up those fat cells and let the toxic substances there and the glucose that has been stored in these fat cells to be reversed and get out into the liver and get back out to be detoxified by the liver. That means we need to figure out, not the word fasting, I don't want to use the word fasting, we need to figure out the position in our life when we take a stand to say we have to fast away from glucose, fructose, even galactose, and ensure that the body figure out what the next source of fuel will be. This is not new. We have been hearing it over and over and over, that the body thrives on the ketogenic ketones and the ketone bodies and those that are from the fat burning processes. I am just realizing this from a discovery internally, and I'm just trying to understand now where insulin fits into this picture, and if we could get ourselves in a position to figure out if we have to control, it's really insulin we are trying to stop. Once we stop the production of insulin, then there is no transportation mechanism to bring glucose to muscles or organ cells and to bring whatever toxic and glucose to the fat cells. And if that cannot happen, then the reverse has to happen, which would be the reverse of insulin. What is the reverse of insulin? There is another hormone that comes out when you do not have insulin, that is the hormone that goes to take out glycogen from the liver. I think it's glucagon is the name, and it goes there to get out stored sugars, reverse it, give the liver some, and then that hormone more than likely is the reverse of insulin, which means it could go into the fat cells, unzip the fat cells, get out the glucose that's there, and while it's getting out the glucose, it may just be getting out also some of the toxic substance that has been stored. But we have to be very careful, because if you are reversing that process, the reason why it was stored in the first case is because the liver did not have the nutrients to bubble wrap these bad substances and bring them out to the bile. Therefore, it is important to ensure that we don't run into the fasted state or the hunger killing yourself state, but we run into the state where we understand that we need to provide the trace minerals, the vitamin minerals, the amino acids that are necessary, so that the liver, when it doesn't have this bolus of insulin around it, or it cannot see and it has to reverse the process of bringing back sugar, well, then it has the process, it has the insulin, the hormone, I think it's glucagon. The liver could say, in that presence, other things are coming. Here is my storage, here is my inventory, filled with all the nutrients to bubble up and dump them out. Thank you for viewing, folks. Again, in the link in my bio, you'll find AI Health Insight. I'm just working on my website. I'm ensuring that I, as a patient, could be responsible for my health. Welcome to Grenada. If you are coming for the carnival, please give me a call. Let me know that you are here in Grenada. Thank you so much.